Hey everyone, welcome to Plants and Politics. I have some really damning evidence and an update to share in regard to that Trump train Biden bus incident last year down in Texas. As you guys may recall, several people who were on a Biden Harris campaign bus in October of 2020, including a former Democratic state senator, they filed two lawsuits alleging violations of the Ku Klux Klan Act, which prohibits the use of violence for political purposes. One of the lawsuits names specific supporters of Trump who allegedly surrounded and terrorized the passengers on the bus while flying Trump flags. And this was an incident that was documented on video, by the way, by these people and by people who were on the freeway at the same time. And it was shared on social media. And in fact, even Donald Trump himself and his brilliant son, Don Jr., shared the video and they praised this domestic terrorism. So the FBI decided that they were going to investigate. I mean, this really blew up in the media, but the passengers, like I said, filed two lawsuits. So here's the deal. The lawsuit alleges, or the updated version of the lawsuit, the amended complaint, alleges that although the police were contacted multiple times by numerous passengers, they did nothing to help, which led to one car being rammed by a Trump supporter's truck. And the bus was nearly run off the road. So I should say that was in the original lawsuit. But lawyers for the plaintiffs just filed the amended complaint, including this new evidence, which shows that the San Marcos Police Department not only flat out refused to escort their bus to safety, but they were actually laughing at and minimizing the situation. So 911 recordings reveal that San Marcos Police Corporal, the one who was on duty, I should say, that day, is a man named Matthew Dainzer. And he said to the 911 dispatcher, quote, "No, we're not going to do it. We will close patrol that, but we're not going to escort a bus." Now, in addition, the court filing states that officers, quote, "privately laughed and joked about the victims and their distress." And this is evidenced by the 911 recordings as well as private text messages. So the amended lawsuit now includes Dainzer, San Marcos Assistant Police Chief Brandon Wickenwerder, and the city of San Marcos as new defendants. And it states that when the bus entered San Marcos jurisdiction, the police department just really didn't give a damn. They downplayed the danger. Even the 911 dispatcher minimized this domestic terrorism. Here's what went on. During the 911 exchange, the dispatcher calls Dainzer and says, quote, "I am so annoyed at New Braunfels for doing this to us. They have their officers escorting this bus, essentially, and the Trump train is cutting in between vehicles and driving, being aggressive and slowing them down to like 20 or 30 miles per hour. And they want you guys to respond to help." So as this 911 dispatcher is saying this, Dainzer is heard laughing, okay? And this 911 dispatcher goes on to say, they're like really worked up over it. And he's like breathing hard and stuff, like they're being really aggressive. Okay, calm down. Really? So are you there? Do you know how dangerous this is? And this 911 dispatcher is so annoyed about the police being asked to do their freaking jobs. "I'm so annoyed they're asking you to do your job." That's what this person is saying. But then they don't like the idea of defunding the police. Anyway, in response, Dainzer tells the dispatcher that the bus driver, first he says, "No, I'm not going to do it." And then he tells the 911 dispatcher, quote, "Drive defensively and it'll be great." Really? How defensively would you want me to drive? You don't want me driving defensively. Trust me. And the 911 dispatcher replies, quote, "Or leave the train. There's an idea." Sure, idiot. Just leave when you're surrounded on all sides. Gee, why didn't they think of that? And how exactly do you do that without hitting another vehicle? And when people are flashing guns at you, how defensive are you going to drive? So the dispatcher gets back on with the Biden staffer who called and says, quote, if you feel like you're being threatened or your life is threatened, definitely call us back. And the staffer said to her, quote, are you kidding me, ma'am? They've threatened my life on multiple occasions with vehicular collision. But the dispatcher just responded by saying that the police would continue to monitor conditions, but the decision not to provide an escort had been made by a high-ranking official. So newly filed court documents show that other people were even calling 911 and reporting reckless driving. Yet the police just said, nope, sorry, not going to do anything. So the lawsuit states that when one Biden volunteer, apparently who was driving their own vehicle, they had reached the campaign event in advance of the bus. They were ahead of them. I guess they got away somehow. And this person informed the city marshal's deputy, the defendant named Chase Stapp, that the Biden campaign event would be canceled. They had to cancel it for fear of violence and what was going on. But he told this guy, Stapp, that, oh, we're going to cancel the event. And, oh, by the way, the passengers on the bus, quote, could really use your help. However, when Stapp contacted 911 dispatch to let them know about the cancellation, he didn't bother to mention that the bus and the passengers were in distress. Instead, he told this volunteer that if the passengers needed assistance, they should call 911. Why didn't they think of that? Oh my God. Gee, that could have stopped all of this. Seriously? Seriously? And the lawsuit says that even though the police promised that they would monitor the situation, and even with all of these calls coming in, even from people who weren't even on the bus, the passengers say they saw no police cars, not on either side of the highway. They saw no police cars at the entrances or the exit ramps. So they were nowhere to be found. They just vanished. And then, allegedly, then after the fact, there were private text messages and conflicting statements, which prove that these people only swear to protect and serve the people who are members of their cult, who also pray to the same cult leader. So first, the day after this domestic terrorist attack on the bus, and when they allegedly tried to run the bus off the road, the city marshal's deputy, who I just mentioned, Chase Stapp, he sent a text message to multiple police officers. And he said, quote, from what I can gather, the Biden bus never even exited I-35 thanks to the Trump escort. Yeah, sounds like he's real concerned. There was also a group text message that involved San Marcos police officers in which one unidentified person referred to everyone on the bus as, quote, tards. What great people. All the best people, huh, Trump? Yeah, you really send your best. And when all of this blew up in the media, everyone went into cover your ass mode. Daenzer apparently, this is the guy, remember, who said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not sending an escort to escort a bus. Nope, not happening. Flat out refused. Yet 1 or 2 days later, after this event, he writes up a report about this alleged domestic terrorist attack. And he stated in the report, quote, due to the staffing issues, lack of time to plan, and lack of knowledge of the route, we were unable to provide an escort. Unable, he says, knowing damn well that he refused to escort the bus, and he knew exactly where they were. He knew exactly where this was taking place. Then the Texas Tribune news outlet, they reached out to the city of San Marcos and they asked for a comment. And the spokesperson lied. I don't know if the spokesperson knew they were lying or if they were lied to and just gave the statement that they were given. But they said that the police attempted to respond, but traffic prevented them from catching up with the bus before they left city limits. So which was it? Was it due to lack of planning and lack of staff, or you couldn't reach them in time? Because it can't be both. So make up your minds. Which excuse are you guys going with? And how is it? I mean, what a joke of a response. Police can't catch up to a bus going 20 miles per hour. Really? What do you do for a living? What is your job exactly? What do taxpayers pay you to do? We all know all of this is a bunch of bullshit. But there's additional proof that they're all liars, because San Marcos City Council member Lisa Pruitt told the same news outlet, the Texas Tribune, that she warned law enforcement 24 hours in advance. So not only were they called a multitude of times that day while it was actually happening, but they knew in advance that there was a threat. Because remember, this was allegedly planned online in advance, just like January 6th. These people were talking about it on social media, talking about doing this. So allegedly, in addition, Pruitt said that she also reached out to Chase Stapp, one of these defendants. She said on the day of this alleged domestic terrorism, she reached out to Stapp and informed him that the bus was 30 minutes away and they were being followed by 50 or more vehicles with Trump flags. But Stapp told the Texas Tribune, quote, with the exception of the 2 phone calls to me from Ms. Pruitt, at no time did anyone from the campaign request assistance from the San Marcos Police Department in advance of the event so that the request could be evaluated and prepared for. Seriously? Oh, well, I guess people in San Marcos should know that, when their house is broken into, they better let the police know in advance or they won't be able to help you. Oh, and if a woman there is being raped, first of all, God forbid you get pregnant because you're stuck with the kid. But second, you should also plan ahead for that rape, ladies. Let the police department know in advance that you think you're probably going to be attacked out of nowhere so that they can get their shit together and prepare their response. Otherwise, they're useless. What the hell is 911 for? We'll see how this all plays out, but it appears that the plaintiffs have a very strong case. You've got audio, video, written evidence. And these people knew. They were talking about it. That's another thing that was mentioned in this updated lawsuit, was that they specifically said in internal emails after the fact that it was going to be a, quote, political firestorm and that it was a debacle. You think? Yeah. This is what happens when you hire people who don't actually give a damn about protecting everyone. They only care about protecting their own. This is what happens when you hire people who have no ethics and no morals. I'll leave it there before I say anything more. All right, guys, as always, thanks so much for watching and listening. Take care. I'll talk with you soon.